Welcome back to another Marvel Snap tier list. We're going through and tier listing all the cards, but here on Where Fight Air, our tier list is a little bit different. We don't rate the cards on how good they are in game by their effects. We don't rate how you should be putting them into decks. Instead, we rate them on something a little different. And what's that, Andrew?
Yes, thank you, guys. We rate them on how well the cards reflect the flavor and the personality and powers of the character they are based upon.
Right, and we do that based on, the comics and also the MCU, since these cards are kind of a hybrid, somewhere between those two iterations of the Marvel superhero characters we know and love. And well, let's just hop back into it. So last time, we introduced a new segment that we do at the beginning called Maxwell's Retcon Corner, where we go and find cards that, in the time since we've done a previous tier list, and we're doing this one that have changed significantly enough to talk about. And funnily enough, a card that was previously retconned was retconned again, and that is Black Cat, who I argued should be put into D tier. And I'm going to argue that she returns back to the gutters of F tier. Now, the reason why I had argued for Black Cat to be put in D tier is because, she was previously 2 cost. And she got discarded if you didn't play her. And I was like, well, Black Cat, she has luck-based powers. And if, you have the misfortune, right, of drawing her on your first turn, you can't play her. That's tough, right? It's bad luck. But now she's a 1-drop. You can always play Black Cat. What? She had like one interesting thing like lore wise that made sense, and now they're just like, I don't know. The card wasn't very good, so forget the lore. So personally, I think that she's lost that little sliver that gave her a foothold in D tier. I think she's back to the F realm.
Well, you were the main one arguing for her not to be an F. So if you've given up your position that she should be in D, I'm afraid she ends up back in F.
That's
'Cause,
tough. That's tough.
yeah, no, she's just
Well,
one of the best, highest power 1-drops with minimal
well,
downside.
hey, as Richard Nixon said, mistakes were made, but not by me. All right. So, did we put anyone into the Who Is This category
We did
last
not.
time?
We did not have any come across
All
any
right.
unknown characters, so we don't have time for. Well, we don't have. We'd have time. We don't have any reason for Andrew's research corner. So with that, we can
All
just
right.
move on to the next character of Professor X.
Professor X. So Professor X is still a 5-drop, 5 cost. He has 2 power, and his ability ongoing moving is the only way to add or remove a character from here. Now, here's the thing about Professor X, right? Now, when I hear that ability, I think, oh yeah, it must be like a telekinetic, right? They kind of like prevent stuff from moving rather than like moving things. Professor X is not a telekinetic. He is telepathy, and I guess right, you could kind of bend her backwards. Oh, you can like make people stop because he's like really powerful, right? And I like how this effect is really powerful. He's high costed. I like that for like powerful characters. But I don't know, like, if this screams Professor X to me, like specifically. It's an ability they could give to Professor X. Like, I kind of get it. But like, when I think Professor X, like, I don't think like arresting motion or like stopping people from coming in. Like, I don't, like Professor X is not like a bouncer character, like where he's like, you can't come into like my X Academy, you know. So I don't love this. Off the cuff, I would say D. Like if I were just to shoot from the hip. What do you think about Professor X, Andrew?
Yeah, this is a continued issue we've had within this. You can all see here with Cable and Cosmo, where it really feels like they didn't exactly know what to do with telepathic people, because a lot of them have either copying or like lockdown effects. And Professor X, It's on one hand, it's nice because he does have one of the more powerful. He's one of the highest costed. He has a really powerful character. He has one of the most powerful of the lockdown effects. But yeah, I mean, on one hand, it's like not super specifically Professor X, but also like if you ask me what a Professor X card should do, I don't have an answer to that question. I don't really know what a Professor X card should do because I mean he's just like a telepath. Like he's a really powerful telepath, but like I don't really know what to you know what to do with that from a card design perspective.
Okay, I actually do, because bringing up Cosmo is a great point. I think when I think of Professor X, right, getting in people's heads, I think of the times that Professor X has like put mental blocks in people's minds or like erased their memories or like, sequestered them away from them, right? He's done that, to the benefit of Wolverine. He's done it to Magneto. Um, you know, and to me, that sounds kind of like Enchantress or Cosmo, where it's like, it's a lockdown effect, but it's like specific, like it affects someone's abilities. Like they like forget how to do their thing, right? Like it's like a debilitating attack. And Professor X doesn't do this often, right? But like he has before. Um, he's not doing that though. So I I'm feeling D. Like, I think there's room for improvement. I get what you're saying, where it's kind of like, I don't know, he's a telepath. Like, how do we, do that in game, right? You know, but I don't love this, and I think it could be better without too much extra effort.
Yeah, I don't know. My thought is he might. I would say he's probably a contender for C for the same reason we have Cable in C or like a lot of the other characters in C. Honestly, where it's like this makes sense, but there's probably something they could be doing that's better.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that. I mean, I don't think he's as good as say like Apocalypse. But I think he's as good as Black Bolt.
Okay, well, for Happy Professor X at C, we can move on to Psylocke. So Psylocke is a 2 power, 2 cost with on reveal you gain +1 energy next turn. So I don't get it at all.
Yeah, I mean, so Psylocke has energy powers, already a bad sign for the Marvel Snap design team. Because I very few characters that have energy powers have anything to do with their abilities. You know, between the card and like the lore, right?
Besides like
Um,
Electro.
yeah, yeah, and then this one is like just it's the same tired pattern of I don't know energy. There's energy in the game. You know, Bing Bang Bosh. Next to card. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, in the spirit of the Marvel Snap design team that didn't think too hard about this one, I don't think we have to think too hard about it either. D.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like one thing. I feel like the trap people fall into with Psylocke is if you just like see Psylocke without knowing much about her, you might think she has like energy projection powers, which like she doesn't really. All the weaponry she uses are actually psionic energy because she's another telepath. Like she doesn't like make laser swords; she makes mental energy swords. So
Yeah. Yeah.
D, and we can move on to Punisher. I don't think we've ever talked about, and I have not really put much thought into Punisher actually.
Yeah, me neither. So I mean, Punisher, right? He's a 3 cost. He is 2 power or 3 power now. They gave him a little improvement. His ability is ongoing +1 power for each enemy card here. Now, this one's kind of interesting because, like, when you think about the story that this effect has, right? It's like, the more people he takes on, like, the stronger he gets, right? I, I don't know if that's really what I would think Punisher does. I mean, honestly, it's kind of funny. Like, I feel like Punisher is one of those characters that, like, I would really understand if Punisher was, like, like he was Cyclops, right? Where he was just like the basic 3/4. And it's like, hey, he's Punisher. Doesn't have any abilities, just a guy. He's really strong. Sometimes in the comics he looks like a refrigerator with a head on it. Um, like he's just a really strong dude, and he's got guns, got a lot of guns. And he shoots people. Um, so I mean, his ability is not that complicated, but I mean, Punisher's not that complicated, right? Like when it comes to like what he does. And I mean, like, yes, you can get into like the interesting, like, oh, like he's like an anti-hero, and it's kind of cool, but I don't know if this is like really the best. Like the cards in Marvel Snap really like the best forum for that, like idea of a character. Maybe something like Deathlock's ability, right, where he destroys everything around him. But even that with Punisher is like not. It is not
Yeah,
super on brand.
and that's like actually it's like definitively not on brand because Punisher's one of Punisher's main character traits is that he knows he is a broken man and that he does things that are wrong because like his final villain he needs to kill is himself, and he actually has respect for every hero who has a no kill rule. In fact, when he rushes with other heroes, he doesn't kill people because he respects that they can deal with hardship and not break like he did.
Yeah, and that's really interesting. I don't know if there's a way to fit that into a card necessarily. But I will say, but his ability doesn't speak to me. Um, it's basic, but it's like almost too much. Like it's kind of like, wait, why that? Like, why not? Why isn't he just like a card those stats? Um, so I'm inclined to kind of put him in F. Like I just don't get it.
Yeah, and I know we have a tenuous uh rule of that we don't actually do FX except for when you tried to argue for Angel, and then we sometimes talk about them. But Punisher's uh, visual effects doesn't make any sense because the way his thing works, you play him, and his effect for getting bigger is shooting a can of smoke. Like he shoots like a smoke grenade, and that makes him have more power based on how many people it hits. Which what?
Yeah, I mean it looks cool, but it doesn't do anything. Like if you reduce the power of someone, I'd be like, oh, it's like tear gas, but like it's not. You just get stronger. So yeah, I don't know, bro.
Quake. So Quake is 2/3 swap the other locations on reveal. Yeah, I don't know. This one's hard because like I like that she does stuff related to locations because she's you know Quake her ability she can cause earth tremors. But swapping location, that seems pretty wild for anyone to do. But also the locations in this game are like weird nebulous like idea of a place and not really a place. So who knows? Um, it's also
Yeah.
interesting that she doesn't do anything with shield because she's a very shield tied character.
Yeah, she is kind of an odd one out with the shield characters where she doesn't create cards, doesn't benefit creating cards. It's very odd. Um and I do also like it, right? Like on its surface, you're like, oh, okay, she's Quake, she's it manipulates locations, but it's kind of a little indelicate, right? She doesn't like destroy locations. She doesn't move things from locations. She just switches them, um, which doesn't quite work for me. I think she's a good candidate for C. Like she makes some sense. I can follow the logic, but I think it's missing some key elements that would like bring her a little higher.
I'm sorry, I like completely spaced out. What did you say?
So I think that I like her abilities. But I feel like I agree with you. Like it doesn't super make sense. Um, that she swaps the locations. I feel like they could have done something a little different. Like making rocks or like destroying the location or like doing something like moving characters rather than like moving the locations. I feel like that's kind of a little like the focus is on the wrong object. So I mean, for that reason, I would say probably like C.
Yeah, I can agree with that. It's actually funny when I was looking at when I was going down to get this card and I didn't see the name. I just at the top I was like, wait, how did we not do Maria Hill? And then I scrolled down forward. I was like, oh, it's Quake. That was an interesting one. Let's do. We already did the other two because we just before we started pulling things out, and they came up alphabetically before him. But Quicksilver.
Quicksilver. All right. Well, Quicksilver is a 1 cost, 2 power. And at the beginning of the game, Quicksilver runs into your hand. Kind of the interesting part of Quicksilver is that unlike some of the other cards that do effects like that, well, I guess the other card that doesn't affect like this because they changed America Chavez, much to our consternation. Quicksilver starts in your opening hand. And he replaces a card in your opening hand. So it's not an additional card. You don't draw him. He just starts as one of the 3 cards in your opening hand.
Unlike, for instance, the reason why this matters is Agatha Harkness's text is she starts in your hand, and she starts in your hand as an additional card. You never draw Agatha Harkness. You draw your 3 cards, and then Agatha Harkness just shows up in your hand.
Right. Now, putting aside the implications that has for gameplay, I mean, Quicksilver getting there first, that makes sense. He's really fast. I mean, that's his ability. He's really fast. So I like it. I mean, it's kind of one of those like, really simple designs that just works well. As far as I'm concerned, I feel like they had an idea that wasn't too complicated. It's executed well. Like could it be more convoluted? Probably. And there are some other super fast characters they did some different things with. Honestly, though, I don't know if any of them are successful as Quicksilver. Let's grab Speed.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that they really did on their first attempt. And if we're gonna grab Speed, no, we'll wait on that. No, we're doing Super Speed. We'll get to him later. I was gonna say Quicksilver. It's like it feels like they used up the one like really good idea they had for Super Speed for Quicksilver, because Speed is a 3-cost 3 power, and he has +1 power for every turn where you spent all your energy.
Yeah, we gotta grab him. Yeah, we gotta grab Wiccan.
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say
it adds context to why they did this.
But like you need Wiccan for context. He is important to ranking Speed. So Wiccan.
Yeah, he's a 4-cost. Let's see. They put him back down to 6. Yeah, 6 power. And on reveal, if you spent all your energy on previous turns, +2 max energy. So the reason why we got to bring him up, if you didn't know already, Speed and Wiccan, they're brothers. They are they are Wanda Maximoff's children. You might remember them if you've seen like the WandaVision TV show or the Doctor Strange Multiverses of Madness, where she was distraught and trying to like bring these imaginary children into like real existence because they. Anyways, I don't need to get into that if you were going to watch it. It's a little old now, but hey, why bother with the spoilers? And they're in the comics too. And they don't really have anything to do with their parents, except for the fact that like Speed has kind of her brother's ability to run super fast, and Wiccan has kind of more of the magical abilities of his mother. So I guess their powers, kind of run in the family like that. So reason why we bring both of them up is because they have, in addition to being twin brothers, they synergize with each other. because Speed cares about spending all of her energy, and Wiccan also cares about spending all of her energy. Kind of cool. Um, Here's my thing. Why do they do that?
That's a good
You know,
question.
I mean, like it's cool that they synergize with each other. I just don't know why that's their ability. Like it's just sort of it feels like they just had a mechanic and they're like, oh, what if we had two characters that like did this and they're like, oh, well, we got these two guys coming up in the next season that we could put this ability on. It doesn't feel like it has anything to do with their abilities or their characters, other than the fact that they work with each other.
We do
And I
have
don't know.
the
I mean,
we do have the weird synergy that Quicksilver does help with Speed and Wiccan because he always gives you a
yes,
turn one play.
yes. And I mean, look, theoretically, right? You could play Quicksilver, you could play Scarlet Witch, Speed, Wiccan, Vision, and Magneto. You know,
Family reunion.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess the extra two power you're getting on turn 5 and turn 6 aren't going anywhere, but I don't know. You know,
You could
whatever.
put
Who cares?
Polaris into one of those, and
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know anyone else who's one energy. Wait till Viv Vision comes up next.
yeah. But I don't know. I think it's a good contrast, right? You look at Speed and you're like, why is this like this? And then you look at Wiccan and you go, oh, okay. But it doesn't really explain it. It just kind of explains like, oh, okay, these guys go with each other. Whereas Quicksilver, it makes perfect sense. So here's my question with Quicksilver. We'll get back to Speed and Wiccan. Their detention is coming. But first we got to give some praise to Quicksilver. And the question that I have for you, Andrew, is: do you think this is A, or this is Sublime design?
my my I don't know. He's at least going in it. You can put him up there. We can compare him to some of the people in those other grids. So my only thought here is I don't know. I feel like we're sometimes mildly inconsistent because I still think about I guess Master William, whatever. So because Quicksilver's like I don't know how you could design a speedster card in a game better than this Quicksilver card. Besides, actually, you know, we need to bring up here. Actually, we're missing one person. We're missing the final person in the super speed. Meraki,
Ooh, Makari. Ooh. Okay.
because
Now this one is interesting.
this is a person who might mess with Quicksilver. So Meraki is now a 3/3, and she has end of turn. This runs from your hand to a random location.
Yeah. So she's so fast that you don't even have to play her normally. She just runs out of your hand. Now, you have the benefit of having seen the Eternals movie. I have not, so I don't know. You know, is Makari like particularly like hot-headed or like quick to like act without thinking or something that like explains like the randomness?
She actually is. This is actually very funny you say that. She's one of the younger. I can't really play without ruining things. The Eternals have fake memories that were implanted in them. They're artificial beings. Eternals are artificial beings made by the Celestials. Spoilers, sorry. That is one of the twists in the movies, but no one saw that movie, so I don't, and no one apparently liked it besides me and my mom. So I don't. If you care, sorry, I guess. She is actually really interesting. She's mute, so that's interesting. And then she also is actually more prone to doing things. Like she in the far past of Earth, her and Druig, another Eternal, they would do things that technically they weren't allowed to do, or like they weren't supposed to do because they were like outside their code, but they do it anyway because they feel like it would help people. Druig had a whole thing with that because he had mind control powers and he like made like a cult like town in the woods in the present, but that's a whole different thing. Well, Makari, yeah, she is prone to doing things before thinking about them. Although, actually, interestingly, she abstained from the final conflict between the splintering Eternals at the end. Um,
Interesting. Interesting. Well, I like that. I like that. Because I mean, it fits in with what she does, right? Because like she runs out of your hand, and you're like, "No, Makari, the bar with no name. Why would you do that?"
Why
You
would you want
know?
the space throne? You've ruined
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. So I like that. This is kind of what I was talking about with something maybe a little more convoluted. Because it's like, yeah, Makari's ability, it's not complicated, like super complicated, but it's like it's like kind of an out of the box kind of ability. Whereas Quicksilver's ability, I mean, at least as far as Marvel Snap goes, it's not super out of the box. Um, so I mean, I like it though. I like its simplicity. Um, but you bring up a good point. I think kind of looking at both of these cards. I love Makari. I really like Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like Makari goes in Sublime for me. Quicksilver stays in A. Very respectable, quite good. But I think that Makari really like demonstrates like what we want out of a Sublime card.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, because I was gonna say about Quicksilver is the reason why he's an A and not Sublime when Makari is like, because Quicksilver seems like a really good way to do a speedster, but I was like, I don't know. I feel like there could be something better, but I don't know how you do it in the limitations of Marvel Snap. And they figured out how to do it because they made Makari.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So Makari goes in Sublime. And
Okay.
Quicksilver goes in. Okay.
Now
On to
for
the
our
Maximoff
dunces of the
clearance.
day. Yeah. Fellas, it's not looking good for you. Your mom's,
Yeah.
Ms. Maximov is going to be very upset when we call home tell her how you guys have done. Um, because yeah, I mean, I don't get it. I like they synergize. I think we were kind of talking about this last time with when the cars synergize. How much does that help them? There are definitely some cars where it does not help them. In this case, I like how tightly like bound they are together. They have like a perfect play pattern into each other. Um, Me personally, I think that that puts them in D. I don't understand why their ability is that. Um, but hey, fine. I like it. They work really well together and they're twins.
I agree. I feel like Wiccan is really doing the heavy lifting here because he falls under our broad category of, yeah, I guess magic can do that. Speed's ability is a little harder, but the fact that he works so well with his brother and also his uncle, I think, helps him to be able to stay in D. So Wiccan gets into D mostly on his own, and Speed has to rely on three other people. He limps into D. Okay, we can move on to Red Skull. Yeah, this one, this is one of our classic ones of when we first, before we started making these videos, when we were first talking about how cards don't make sense flavor wise. Red Skull was one of the ones we talked about the most.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited to see how kind of our thought process maybe has changed a bit or not changed. Because it's been a couple of years since we first started talking about Red Skull. So Red Skull, he is a 5 cost, 14 power card. His ongoing ability is enemy cards here have +2 power. Now you're gonna have to remind me because I feel like we're gonna have basically the same conversation. Because I remember saying, and I'm thinking the exact same thing right now. I like how Red Skull empowers people against them because they're like, I hate this guy. He sucks. Because he's Red Skull. He's like he's
Yeah,
basically like
he's a super.
the
He's literally a
he's
super Nazi.
yeah, like I mean, I guess Hydra is like slightly separate from the Nazis, but like only slightly. Like, you know, Um,
Not the,
and so like,
the Hydra just went, okay, so we traded the anti-Semitism for more just like being more generically evil. We're not anti-gay people and Jewish people. We're just anti-people being free generally.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's less targeted, but like still deeply wrong. Yeah, and Red Skull, he came back after the war just as bad. Didn't go. Oh, it's a new time. He said, nah, I'm still on my, I'm still on my evil grind.
Yeah, they put
You
me in
know,
this body that's a clone of Captain America, and I'm still evil. That is not something I made up. That is one of the ways Red Skull came back to life once.
so I mean, here's the thing about Red Skull, right? Red Skull doesn't have actual abilities.
Most of the
I
time.
mean, like most of the time, right? The
Himself.
thing,
He
the
doesn't have
thing about Red
abilities
Skull,
himself.
he plays on like this the sort of fictional trope of Nazis having like this crazy weird technology and like a bunch of occult like artifacts and stuff, which the occult stuff and the science stuff based on real life greatly exaggerated, right? Um, but so
Well, I
this
mean,
was Kaiser's kind of thing,
them actually succeeding at the occult stuff is greatly exaggerated. The
right?
Nazis did a
Right.
lot of weird stuff with occult stuff because they were insane.
So he doesn't really have like specific abilities. Like Red Skull, his stories are always like, I have found the ancient dagger of Nikar Kul, and I will use it to destroy all of East Asia, or something crazy
Yeah,
like
or
that.
I got a cosmic cube for the 7 billionth time.
Yeah.
Cosmic cube time. Now Captain
Yeah.
America's a Nazi. Everyone will love this
Yeah.
storyline, I swear.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, look, Red Skull's gonna do Red Skull stuff, and people are gonna not like it. That's how he works. So for me, I like it. Because I feel like Red Skull he's one of those like top tier villains. So him being a 5 cost, again, I like it when the powerful characters are higher cost. If that makes sense to me. I like that he's powerful, but he's also such a villain that like everyone is like, like Predator handshake, like we've gotta stop this guy. So I like that he powers people up. But what are you thinking?
Which I believe I did say when we had this conversation about this, my thoughts on Red Skull is that I let agree buffs his allies, his enemies, specifically because a lot of the time, one of the major reason Red Skull loses is that Red Skull really massively overestimates his own ability to do things. Like, man's ego is so large, even though he loses all the time, that half the time he loses, the reason he lost could have been very easily avoided if he had just like, thought that maybe the thing he was gonna do wasn't gonna work perfectly.
Mm,
But he just
mm,
doesn't. He's really really into self sabotage by way of just massively overestimating that he is smarter than other people or that what he's going to do is just going to work.
right. He's just too arrogant. Yeah. I mean, yeah, the hubris is really a big part of his character for sure. So I like it a lot. I mean, as far as Red Skull goes, like I gotta be real. I don't know if I could do it better.
The thing is, and I think they chose the correct one because the two major things you can focus on Red Skull, because his two most defining character traits or like character flaws are his obscene ego and hubris, and then also the fact that he is so obsessed with things he does not know when to let go. There have been multiple times Red Skull has been defeated because specifically the Cosmic Cube has been knocked out of his hands or something like that and like goes into the ocean and he just jumps after it and then just gets like crushed by rubble and dies because
Mm,
he is so blinded by his ambitions that he gets so obsessed with stuff that he just does things that don't make any sense that it directly lead to him being defeated. And
okay. I like this. I like this.
I think of those two things going for like I feel like this really because I mean they're both very similar and I think this does really like this card really does encapsulate that. And it's actually very funny because one of the more effective ways and pretty much the only way people really use Red Skull in game is by silencing him. So it's like, yeah, Red Skull is really useful if you just like get rid of all the parts that make him not good at being a villain.
Yeah.
He's very much
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Electro. And like Electro's really
Right.
powerful, but Electro's main downside is he's just really stupid. So whenever Electro's like part of a supervillain team, he's like actually dangerous because he's under the direction of people who know what they're doing.
Right. Right. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I mean, armchair designer. I'm kind of like, what if playing him, you couldn't retreat because he's obsessed with getting the cosmic cubes. I don't know. I don't know. It could be kind of cool, but I think this really works for me though. I think maybe playing a card that prevented you from retreating would just like it wouldn't be good for the game, probably, to be honest. I mean, here's the thing. This is a lore tier list. We don't care about what's good for the game. you know?
Yeah, that's why King's in Sublime. That's horrible for the game. It doesn't do anything at all. But Thorn is a really good capturing of Kang.
but I don't know. I mean, do you think Sublime or A? I really like it.
I would say Sublime. Comparing him to the people who are in Sublime versus the people in A, I think he's a better capturing of them of him as a character than any of the people in A.
I agree. I agree. All right. Uncommon Red Skull W.
Oh, Rogue. Rogue is interesting. So Rogue is a 3-cost, 2-power, on reveal, steal the ongoing effect from an random enemy card here. I don't know. Rogue is interesting because this is a card that should exist, and Rogue mostly makes sense for it. She does have the slightly weird caveats of Rogue doesn't steal people's powers, she copies them and drains their life force while in contact with them. So it's not like she touch. I mean, the people she touches typically don't use their powers for a bit afterwards, but that's less because she took their powers and more because they're like unconscious because Rogue touched them.
Right. Because Rogue kind of like she doesn't have to keep touching people to get their powers from them. Which
Although,
is why like she can fly and like she has super strength and stuff is because
well,
at one point she touched someone that could do that.
no, it's actually interesting. Rogue copies powers and memories temporarily. The reason why she can fly and has super strength and really high durability is because one time she was in direct contact with Captain Marvel for an extended period of time and permanently copied some of her powers.
That's a fun tidbit that I didn't know.
Yeah, that's why she has base powers because she didn't used to have those. She got them from Captain Marvel. And again, as you can tell from the fact that Captain Marvel is still able to, do all of the stuff that Rogue can do, she doesn't steal the powers, she just copies them.
Right. Which here's the thing. We haven't gotten to this character yet. And I think he's gonna do a little more poorly on the tier list. But um our favorite Captain America Soviet version, TM. Yeah, Red Guardian. He has a similar-ish effect.
Do you want
I mean, we,
do
we could
yeah.
we could talk about him now. We could talk about him now. Why not? Right? Since we're already bringing him up. So we now have rescued Red Guardian from the Gulag, just like in the Black Widow movie. Which some of you will understand that reference. But there's also another card that we need to grab that is actually included in this tier list. So we're gonna grab her too.
Yes, that card is Copycat, who is a
Okay.
3-cost, 5-power. When drawn, copy the text from the bottom card on your opponent's deck. It actually used to be Steel, but they changed it because they were like, well, in the edge case of your deck gets shuffled and you draw the card Copycat silenced, it's a feel bad, which, yeah, of course it's a feel bad. It's a tech card. Weird thing to nerf Copycat for, but sure, okay. Pop off King, I guess.
Yeah. And then Red Guardian is a 3/2. On reveal, afflict the lowest power enemy card here with -2 power and remove its text. So here's the thing. The reason why I bring these up is because they're very similar effects. And I brought up Red Guardian because I feel like Red Guardian does minus power, and that's what Rogue should do. Now, Red Guardian removes their ability. Um, out first of all, I don't know why he does that. But because as far as I know, Red Guardian is just like he's kind of like Soviet Captain America.
Yeah. Pretty much.
So like I don't know why he has the ability to like negate people's powers.
The animation seems to just be he just jumps, walks up to them, just punches them in the head, and gives them a concussion.
yeah. It's the Soviet solution to people that have powers, right? Very simple, solutions. The Soviets, elegant and simple. But yeah, I mean, I like that more. So for me, like Rogue, I like it. I don't love it. For that reason, I would argue that Rogue should be in B tier.
I can agree
Because
with that.
I like most of her effect, but I don't like all of it.
I can agree with that.
Now, Red Guardian, him I like less.
Yeah.
I don't know why he does that, like at all. It just doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
it's like it's not because I will say it's do we want to just do all the Captain Americas?
Sure, why not?
Okay, so we've already done baseline Captain America, which if you'll remember, he's like an inspiring person. He gives everyone around him, well, every ongoing now because they changed him around him a power boost, as he is wont to do as Captain America, because he's very inspiring. Now, there's a lot of Captain America inspired characters. I've grabbed them all. We have U.S. Agent, Captain Carter, and Sam Wilson, Captain America. And Red Guardian, he's technically a Captain America variant. The reason why I bring up all these other people is all these other characters have like thematic riffs on Captain America's ability. So U.S. Agent is a 2/3 and he gives 4, 5, and 6 cost units -3 power, -4.
It is currently, if I could actually find
-3.
it
Okay,
here.
-3.
Yeah, -3.
Which makes sense because if you have watched Captain America and the Winter Soldier, or you just know about U.S. Agent, U.S. Agent's like Captain America, but like minus the unshakable ideals. He's like the hollow U.S. government version of Captain America. He's kind of, in some ways, evil Captain America. So it makes sense for him to have like the same similar type of ability of the aura effect, but like bad.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we've got Captain Carter, who is if Peggy Carter became Captain America, from Marvel's What If. She's a 3 cost, 2 power, ongoing. Add this card's power to your back row cards here, and it can't add to itself. So similarly, a riff on Captain America, right? He buffs all your cards at a location. She only buffs the ones behind her. That makes sense. She leads from the front with her shield. I like it.
And then Sam Wilson, Captain America, he's a 2/3. He makes a shield, Captain America's shield, which is a 0 cost, 0 power, indestructible. When this is moved to a location, gives your Captain America's there +2 power. And then he has an ongoing, you can move your Captain America shield once per turn. Now, he's not a direct riff, but it's a very important thing for his character because one of the things with Sam Wilson Captain America is that he is unlike all these other ones that are riffs, he's a legacy character. He's the new Captain America. He was given the shield by Steve. So, it really plays off of the shield, and then it also pays off of I like that they managed to get in a reference to the fact that, Captain America's one of the thing about him is he throws his shield and that bounces around. So they design that into the card. Great all around.
Yeah. So I mean, Red Guardian is kind of not really similar to these guys. To be fair, he is the Soviet version of Captain America. They've got some different ideas. He does have a shield, so I don't know what's up with that.
I mean,
You know,
funnily enough,
where does shield
not
go?
yeah, not in this card art. They took it right there.
Yeah,
They took away his shield.
yeah. Um, and he's just not like the other ones. Also, minus points for him having the fake, Cyrillic letters that are not pronounced like they're used in the word. Um, I've been learning
Look,
Russian.
we gotta tell people they gotta know he's Russian.
Yeah, I mean, like his name would be ya, like yeah, like gua ya dia ya or dia. I don't know it.
The main
Anyways,
point is it's not Red Guardian.
yeah. Yeah, those letters don't they're not used. It's not an R or an N. They're like different letters. They're like vowels. Anyways, um yet another reason to dislike Red Guardian. Frankly, I think not even for that reason. I think it goes to F. I don't think his ability makes sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Maybe we'll revisit him later if they ever add any of the other Soviet super soldiers and he synergizes with them. But I don't think they will because they haven't shown up in a movie. However much I wish Ursa Major was in this game.
There's Omega Red's there, but he doesn't have anything to do with him. So.
Omega Red's not from the Soviet super soldiers. That was Red Dynamo, Ursa Major, Red Guardian, and the brother and sister who had light powers. Omega Red's Russian, but he's not.
Okay. He is Russian. He's just not part of that.
He's not part of the Soviet super soldiers.
Okay.
Or the people's, whatever their name, I don't remember their name after they stopped being the Soviet. Because weirdly enough, they stopped being the Soviet super soldiers and the Soviet Union dissolved, if you can believe it. But I do not remember their name after they stopped being the Soviet super soldiers. I always forget that. Because the Soviet super soldiers is just a much more memorable name.
Yeah. So, Copycat. We'll jump to her and then talk about our Captain America clones. So Copycat, I don't really know her that well.
Yeah,
I know she's from like the Deadpool verse, but
I also don't know much about Copycat. I think she might be going in Who Is This? Because I feel like we don't know enough about her to rank her.
All right. I look forward to Andrew's research corner on Copycat.
Now U.S. agent. Know about.
This guy. I mean, like you said, he's bad. He's bad attitude Captain America. He's like Captain America, but he doesn't make the cut.
He's Captain America, but he serves the country and not the ideals of the country.
Yeah. So I like it. I love it actually. I think he should go in Sublime Design.
Now, the interesting question here that we have to answer, because the thing about this is we gave Captain America a B.
Wait, that's true. That's true. Yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. Because it's not what he does. It's the fact that he's like the opposite of Captain America. So this is more of like a card. Oh, okay. I was a little more bullish on it, but you make a good point. I don't know. The fact that it's like specifically bigger cards as well. Yeah, you would think that he'd beat up on lower cost cards, right?
Yeah, it feels weird for him to be punching above his weight class. That feels very un-US agent.
Yeah, he seems like more of a punching down kind of guy. Okay. For those reasons, you're convincing me. You're convincing me. I think he should go to B.
I would agree.
Because I feel like, much like his character, he will never surpass Captain America.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? On to Captain Carter, where I do have a Andrew fun fact for Captain Carter, which is very funny. So I play the long-running video game Marvel Puzzle Quest. It's a match 3 game with Marvel characters. A card they've had for like a decade-ish, a character, is Captain America Peggy Carter. It's a character, because there's some characters that are in Marvel Puzzle Quest that don't come from any media. The people who make Marvel Puzzle Quest just made them up. And one of them is what if Peggy Carter was Captain America? And it's really funny to me
Interesting.
because when What If came out and Captain Carter came out, they added a skin of Captain Carter for Captain America Peggy Carter, because they're like, oh hey, that's what we did.
Interesting. Interesting.
Although she had Captain America's normal shield and not Captain Carter's Union Jack shield. That's a little
Right.
Andrew fun fact for Captain Carter.
Okay. Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, yeah. So this is the what if character. So she's, I guess, like MCU. Because what if is like MCU kind of. Um, I like it. I like the design. Similar to Captain America. Is this really what Captain Carter does? No. Um, not even when she like becomes like God basically at the end of the end of Marvel's What If. Um, but yeah. So personally, I'd say B. It's Captain America.
Yeah.
You
Now,
know.
now this is the really funny part about this, because I think Sam Wilson Captain America goes to A.
Yeah. I listen. When Captain America throws his mighty shield. You know
Because
what I'm saying?
well, Captain America makes sense. This Sam Wilson Captain America, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm conflicted because I'm like, on one hand it's like, I don't even know, because my main confliction point here is, does this reach Sublime? Because I think this is a near perfect encapsulation of the idea of Sam Wilson Captain America.
I agree. Um, I think the only thing that's missing for me is that I think this would be a better design for regular Captain America. Because the whole thing with Sam Wilson Captain America is that he still has his Falcon abilities. Um, but he can't move or do anything that would suggest him being able to fly. Right?
Yeah.
Um,
Although funnily,
so,
which the funny part is, that's what he had. He has as much of his Falcon powers as the real Falcon card from Marvel Snap.
yeah, it's synergy with regular Falcon.
They have an equal level
um,
of having nothing to do with Falcon.
yeah. But yeah, I think for me that keeps him out of Sublime. Um, I will say, and this is like a nitpick that like I don't like they can't do this design wise. It wouldn't make sense. But why can't Captain Carter and U.S. Agent use the shield, huh? What's up
Because
with
their
that?
name isn't Captain America.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
if
I don't
Peggy Carter
know.
had made her name Captain America, not Captain Carter, she'd get that power boost. Should have thought of the
I
brand
don't know.
synergy.
I don't know. Kind of interesting. But yeah. All right. Yeah, we really just pulled out all those cards for this one.
Yeah,
Who you got? Who you got
that
more
all started with
naturally?
Rogue.
Yeah, we got into
I've
Captain
never thought
America
about this,
tangent.
but this one will be very short. Ronan the Accuser.
All right. Well, Ronan, he's a 5 cost. Hear me out. He is a powerful character. Uh, and um, base, he's got 5 power. He's got ongoing ability plus 2 power for each card in your opponent's hand. Now, hear me out. That power thing or the cost thing is all I have. um,
Yeah. Hear me out. F.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. What does that have to do with him? Um,
Like, what is he
like,
accusing you of having a lot of cards in your hand?
yeah. I pass judgment on you having too many cards in your hand. And now I swing my mighty hammer to carry out the sentence. Yeah,
This
I don't
feels
know.
very similar to like Devil Dinosaur and Darkhawk, who are also an F, where this is an effect that makes sense to have. And these are characters that I feel like they didn't know what to do with.
Right. Right.
So they were
I
like,
mean,
oh,
yeah.
give them that ability. So
Yeah.
yeah, F like the other two. Okay, this is one of the weird ones. Sabretooth. Sabretooth is a 3 cost, 5 power with when destroyed, return this to your hand and it costs 0. Uh, You know what? Let's when we did the first person, which was Deadpool, we weren't pulling people. So let's pull some people real quick. So we're gonna pull Wolverine. We're gonna pull X-23. That's the only relevant people for this, really, I think. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we previously gone over Deadpool, who is in C,
Hmm.
as you can see. How that
Mm.
rhymed. Because him, Sabretooth,
Right.
and Wolverine are the healing factor characters. So they all have slightly different ways. Sabretooth is an interesting outlier in that he's the only one of the three main ones who don't gain any power.
Right. Which is curious. I mean, the thing about it, right? The reason why Deadpool ended up in C was like him gaining more power doesn't make sense. Like it's not like you have to like kind of bend over backwards to justify why he gets more power. Um Similarly, Wolverine X-20, well,
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine gets more power. I don't get that either. I get why. Similar to Deadpool, he comes back. He's a healing factor. That's pretty cool. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's Wolverine's most like and Deadpool's honestly like their most like signature like powers that they have. Besides Wolverine's claws, we love the claws. Um, but I mean, does he get more power when he gets destroyed? No. Um, you know. Um, similar to Deadpool, like I don't love it. Um, However, Sabretooth,
Yeah.
like you said, Sabretooth does not get more powerful. And what's really interesting about that is more flavorful. He
So
just
let's
comes
say
back.
Sabretooth, I think, is actually a really, really good thing because one of Sabretooth's really annoying qualities, and it's really annoying to everyone who's ever fought Sabretooth, is no matter how sure you are that you finally killed that guy, he just shows up again.
Yeah.
You kill him with a magic sword forged from your hate that turns off healing factors, and he still comes back somehow.
Yeah. I mean Sabretooth is tough to kill. Unless you discard him. But that's neither here nor there, you know. Uh Look, I like Sabretooth a lot. Um do I think he's sublime? I mean, I don't know what you could really do better with this guy. You know,
Yeah,
he
with
survives basically everything except again being discarded. But I don't know, like
in the I feel like he does go to Sublime because in the constraints of Marvel Snap, I don't think you could do any better.
that's fair. That's fair. And I like that he comes back easy. Like you don't have to pay any energy to bring him back, right?
Yeah.
Um So okay, yeah. So I'm down with Sublime. Wolverine, I think C. Let's talk about X-23.
Yes.
So X-23 um, is a one cost.
We didn't even say what
Um,
Wolverine does. Sorry to cut you here.
oh yeah,
Wolverine, 2 cost 3 power. When destroyed or discarded, return this. Put this in a random location and give it +2 power. That's what Wolverine does.
yeah,
Because we didn't say.
and that's notable, right? Because X-23 is one cost 2 power. When this discarded or destroyed, regenerated at a random location, you get +1 energy next turn. So does basically the same thing as Wolverine, but instead of getting stronger, getting more power, X-23 gives you +1 energy. Um, Now
Not
listen,
really sure why she gives
I
it
gotta
plus
I
one
gotta be
energy.
real. I don't know everything about X-23. All right, I know that she's like the daughter of Wolverine, or like
Clone.
maybe
She's a
like
clone. She is a clone.
clone. Yeah.
Clone of Wolverine.
Um,
Wolverine
Kind
has
of becomes
children.
like the adopted daughter of
X-23A,
Wolverine, right?
one of them.
Um, she's got a lot of the same abilities, the Weapon X program stuff. Um, yeah, I don't recall her creating energy. Um, maybe I missed that part, of Logan.
Um,
Um,
I know a lot more about X-23, and as a guy who knows a lot more about X-23, I can say it doesn't really make any sense. The main thing she has going for her is that she has the same destroy regeneration thing as Wolverine.
Yeah, and that's what's kind of fascinating about this, right? Is that like, I mean, again, similar to Wolverine and Deadpool, she does like extra stuff, right? Like, oh, she does what you expect her to do, and then she's like, oh, and then she has this weird thing that has like nothing to do with her.
Yeah,
So for that reason, like, she has kind of like, she's got both like a ballast and an anchor attached to her, right? Where she's getting pulled up by this cool ability and then also brought down by this ability that makes no sense. So I think C is a pretty good home for X-23, along with her, I guess, clone progenitor and fellow Weapon X program victim, Deadpool.
I can agree.
All right.
Okay, and that brings us to Sandman.
Mr. Sandman.
Is he a 5'5" still? Oh, man, I don't know.
Yes, he is. He is a 5'8" now.
I don't know. I don't know what Sandman does anymore.
Yeah. Sandman's been changed a lot. The fact that we've been doing this so slowly has spared us from having to do Maxwell's retcon corner for
like
Sandman
4 times.
Currently, we'll see what happens the next time a Joe's comes out. Currently, he's a 5'8". On reveal, next turn, cards cost 1 more to a maximum of 6.
Yeah. And if you want my opinion on the previous Sandman where he made it so you can only play 1 card next turn, F. If you want my opinion on the previous Sandman where he just ongoing people can't play more than 1 card per turn, F.
Look, maybe they'll figure him out. I doubt it. But, there's still hope. There's always hope, right? Yeah, I don't like it either. Sandman's a pretty cool character, and they decided to do something different with him. So, we're going to give him a score that some people may consider different.
Unfortunately. I will say a lot of the people in F really end up at F because it's like this effect needed to exist and they put it on a character and you're like, oh, why'd you do that to them?
Yeah. I mean, some of them are like, not the hood, but like some of them, like, it's like, really? Like, War Machine?
Not Giganto. Like, the character is so forgettable. Yeah. I put him in, I don't know who this is, even though I literally realized, oh, wait, no, I do know who this is.
Yeah. Some of them you get it, and some of them are like, come on.
Of someone really? I know who this is. Sauron.
Oh, Sauron.
Who is named after the Lord of the Rings character. Weirdly enough, that's not a coincidence. It didn't just also happen to name him Sauron. Yeah, so he's what? He's what? 1-2 now.
Yeah, he's had some changes. He's a 1-3.
No, 1-3. It needs to be above rate for some reason. Me and Max have a long-standing hatred of this card.
Yeah, he has changed slightly. He removes the abilities of all ongoing cards in your deck.
Yeah.
Previously used to be your hand as well. Now it's just the deck. Now listen. This guy wants to create dinosaurs. Why is he silencing people?
Yeah.
I mean, he's changing them.
No.
But they're not dinosaurs now.
No.
They don't even get the dinosaur variant. They have the dinosaur variants.
What they should do, and I'm just gonna say this. He should do. Oh my god! I just had a brain blast redesign of Sauron that just makes him a way better card. That would put him in Sublime. So you know how they changed Spider-Ham? Spider-Ham just like turns a card into a pig now.
All right, grab Spider-Ham.
Okay.
Can you grab Spider-Ham?
So Spider-Ham, he is a what? Is he a 1-2 still?
Let's see. Because they changed that little pig around a little bit. Or sorry, mutant around a little bit. 1-2.
Yeah, they changed that spider around a little bit.
Yeah, that's right.
For those of you who are not read up on your Spider-Ham lore, The joke I just made is Spider-Ham, unlike most versions of Spider-Man, where a person gets bit by a radioactive spider, Spider-Ham was a spider who got bit by a radioactive pig person, because in the reality he's from, there's humanoid animals, and he was a normal spider. He got bit by a radioactive spider, a radioactive pig person, and then mutated into a pig person. That's his backstory. And his effect is activate 1/2 effect, activate, turn a random card in your opponent's hand into a pig. So the way Spider-Ham's ability works is the card is still the same card. Its name is just pig, and it has no text. That's all it does. That's very specifically important. You want to know why that's very specifically important?
I do. I do want to know why.
Dormammu is still Dormammu. So your card that summons Dormammu will summon him if he was turned into a pig. Because it's the same card. Its name is just pig now.
Yeah, okay.
So what they could do for Sauron, which would make me like the card way more, even though I'd still hate playing against it, but it'd be a way more thematic card, is to have Sauron just turn all the cards in your deck into... I guess all the cards in your deck with ongoings into dinosaurs. So they'd like just have like the art would just be a dinosaur, and the name would just be dinosaur, and they'd have the same power and cost.
That's pretty sweet. Give this guy a job at second dinner immediately.
And they could do that because they made that tech already for Spider-Ham, so they'd be very easy to do that to Sauron.
Yeah, and it's feasible. We love ideas, guys, that do things that are feasible.
Yeah, we love ideas that do stuff that the game could already do, because then you don't have to be like, well, you should do this thing that's horribly complicated that would take 8 years to program in.
Right. Yeah. No, I really like that.
Unfortunately, we don't live in that reality. We live in the reality where Sauron doesn't thematically. I think it's supposed to be that. Although my questions are twofold, which is one, he doesn't actually turn them into dinosaurs. Two, he only targets people with ongoing effects, which is weird.
Yeah, weirdly specific.
If you don't know, Sauron was a human at one point. He's a really, really good at genetics. He turned himself into a dinosaur man. He likes turning other people into dinosaur people. That's his whole shtick. Not sure why he targets only ongoings. Yeah, I don't know. I'm split between D and
I mean, looking at the cards in D, they make more sense. You know, like for example, Enchantress. I get why she removes ongoing. I don't get why Sauron does that. You know, yeah, I mean he's just a lemon.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we're supposed to have a new partner because.
Yeah. Yeah, Spider-Ham. So here's the thing, right? We don't do animations. This is a rule. We should probably start mentioning this as the top, right? We don't incorporate animation. Now, Spider-Ham, he's from like a cartoon world. He has a very fun cartoon animation where he hits him with a big wooden mallet, you know, that he pulls out of what do they call it? Cartoon space? Hammer space? Hammer space. Yes, he pulls a hammer out of hammer space and hits them with it. Yeah.
It turns them into a pig. Now, the problems with that is, why does it turn them into pig? And wait, he can't turn people into pigs.
Yeah. So, yeah, F. It's very funny. It's on. Here's what I'll say. It's on brand for Spider-Ham to do something that doesn't make sense, which I feel like is kind of like it's at loggerheads with the idea of this tier list of like, hey, what if there was a character whose ability didn't make sense? It's like meta-textual where it's like, oh, if anyone's ability was going to be this like cartoon nonsense that makes no sense, it would be Spider-Ham. However, I don't think that saves him from F for me. You know, there have to be rules, Spider-Ham. You know.
You must have
like it's kind of like an Ant-Man, you know, like, oh, that's like a really cool crime, but like also you cannot work at Baskin Robbins anymore, you know, like you're really cool for that, but like you are fired.
Oh, this one is one of the really fun ones where Scarlet Witch is just like, yeah, magic. I guess.
All right, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. You haven't seen WandaVision. And I think this card is based on that. So she's 2/3. On reveal, replace this location with a new one. That's literally what she does in WandaVision, right? She goes to a random town, has like a mental breakdown, which that's very
Yeah. As
comics.
she is what to do.
Yeah, very very comics coded, and she like turns this town into like a 50s town, and then it's like a 70s town, and then it's like a 90s town. And the people are like stuck in her like sitcom. Um, there's even a location that does the same thing. That is the town from WandaVision.
True.
So I mean, look, is it classic Scarlet Witch? Yes, actually. It's not everything that she can do, but to me, like when I think of Scarlet Witch, like the most interesting stuff that she's done in the comics, right? I think of House of M. That's really interesting, and she just literally just changed the world fundamentally.
I guess if you wanted to give Scarlet Witch a simple thing that feels like Scarlet Witch, having her just restructure reality in this way does make sense.
And keyword chaos, right? It's random. Which is she has chaos powers. I mean, I gotta say, man, I think it's sublime. Yes, it is like random magic go, but like
this time it actually works out.
yeah.
I will say, I think I find you'll think this because you also lived through this. Remember when Scarlet Witch was a mutant and didn't have magic and just had the ability to manipulate probability?
Yeah. They talk about this in WandaVision actually. Kind of fascinating.
Now she's not a mutant.
Yeah.
She gave birth to two mutants.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Riddle me that. Riddle me that. You know what I'm saying?
Also,
wrong universe, but yeah. I mean, riddle me this. How does that work?
Fun question mark fact that is actually interesting about Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver in comics versus MCU is in the comics they are Romani, and in the MCU they are played by like Caucasian people who are not Romani.
Yeah, they're like Sokovians or whatever because like Marvel loves making up random countries in like the Soviet bloc.
They're from Sokovia in the comics, but they're like they are specifically
no, they're from like what was that? There's like a different place. It's not Sokovia. It's like it was in Midnight Suns. What is it called? It's not Latveria. Where is it?
Francia.
Yes, that's where they're from.
Specifically, not Wonderglow.
Yeah, I don't blame you for not remembering that because they just have a random like former Soviet bloc countries that they like make up for Marvel.
I'll tell you, if you're ever like, man, I'm really proud of living in Romania. I wonder what's going on in the Marvel comics. Don't. Romania lost like 90% of its land to a bunch of random countries.
Yeah.
Because like fun fact, Latveria, the place that Doctor Doom's in charge of, Latveria, that's just like literally the place where there's like it only showed up on a map once, and the place where it is just that's just used to be part of Romania. But it's just a different country in the Marvel universe. They just kept stealing land from Romania.
Yeah, tough. It's tough. Yeah, but yeah, sublime design. Hats off.
You get
all right. Let's end on a hopefully juicy one.
Unfortunately.
Oh wow! No. Oh brother, who invited this guy in here? All right. Well, I guess we'll get this out of the way. End on a bitter note. I feel like that's appropriate for this card. So Scorpion is 2/3 on reveal. Afflict cards in your opponent's hand with -1 power. Now, here's the thing, right? Now, if you didn't know who Scorpion was, right? And you didn't have the benefit of Andrew's research corner or, like the internet or like comic books, um, you might be like, oh, Scorpion. He stings people, kind of makes them a little woozy, a little poisoned, right? I get it. It makes sense. Um, Here's the thing. Scorpion doesn't do that.
I mean,
He
he can, but like the Scorpion can inject venom and also like shoot venom, but typically he tends to more fight people by just using the fact that he's super strong and has a fucking mechanical tail that's also super strong. Like his tail didn't even used to have a stinger in it when he first showed up. It was just like a green cylinder.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, can Scorpion do this? Yes. Is that a defining trait of Scorpion? No. And you might think that if you don't know anything about Scorpion,
Yeah, if your only
but
exposure to Scorpion is playing the Spider-Man on PS4, and you're like, yeah, but Spider-Man, he drugged Spider-Man that one time, and Spider-Man like ended up in his underwear, and that's your only exposure to Venom to Scorpion. I can understand why you why you'd think that.
yeah. And I mean, look, I don't love this. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I think there are other characters that could have been used to do this because there are certainly plenty of characters that do like poison kind of stuff. Hazmat got into Sublime Design, off of a similar thing. Um, Scorpion, unfortunately, he does not. He does not do that for me. Honestly, a lot of characters in Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery not doing so great on this tier list, which is really sad to see. As a Spider-Man fan. Um, I don't know. Maybe D. It's not
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah, I could agree with you.
Like I get it. It's not really what Scorpion does, but I get it.
Yeah,
Because he's not like Scarecrow from Batman, where he's like, I'm gonna spread the toxins and like I'm gonna use it to take over New York City. Like he just has like a tail,
yeah,
you know. Like
he's
here's the
just a
thing. Here's the
really
thing.
angry mercenary whose life got ruined.
If Scorpion did what Red Guardian does, then I would be on board. Right? He afflicts a single character, he jumps on them, he stabs them, I'm like, okay, hey, that's Scorpion. He doesn't do that. Um,
I have,
so like,
yeah. You reminded me with Spider-Man villains. I have bad news. We missed him. We missed him, and we looked at this. My beautiful
who?
boy, what did they do to you? We have an emergency end of
No,
video version.
no,
Max's
no,
retcon corner.
Maxwell's retcon corner. Oh man, this video is really just having a stinker of an end. All right, fellas. Phoenix Wright putting hands on desk, looking down solemnly. GIF, fellas, we have to talk about Rhino. Okay. Um, Your Honor, look what they've done to this innocent Spider-Man villain. I mean, what is this? Like they had a sublime design. Not even a sublime design. Um, we have not seen a travesty like this since the America Chavez incident.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so good. He destroyed a location. He left a ruin. It was amazing. Now he makes a rock? What? Like, where's the rock coming from? Like he's like laying an egg? Like, what are we doing here? I hate the Rhino design so much. I was so mad when that came out. It's
Yeah.
honestly crazy how stupid that redesign was. It's not even cool. It's not like mechanically I don't get it. Like,
They,
okay.
it's one of the weird choices. So if you did not read the patch notes, the reasoning for why they were like, well, Rhino's just kind of a worse version of Scarlet Witch, and people don't play him that much. So we've decided to just make him this weird card that, fun fact, I'll be brutally honest, No one plays him still.
Yeah. They said, yeah, no one plays this card, so I don't know. We just kind of did something to him. Like we took a round back of the shed. We didn't shoot him. We just beat him up real good, and hopefully, we've rearranged his face into a
Yeah, we
more
were like,
appealing
man, no one
shape.
plays this bad card. Maybe they'll play this bad card instead.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Like, as much as we don't like the America Chavez change, people play into America Chavez because she's a pretty decent card. New Rhino is still bad.
Yeah, he's a 2/5 now because they
In
said,
fact,
oh,
honestly, he
people
might
aren't
be
playing him.
worse.
Yeah, he's just bad, and it's crazy. Like, there's a deck for him to be in. They wanted him to go in the Nihilist deck. He's not good in that deck. I don't look. We don't listen. This is the flavored list space, okay? And frankly, we don't need any more reasons to hate Rhino. Put him in F.
Yeah.
I don't want to look at him anymore.
This is the highest fall from grace we have had
Yeah.
in this series' honestly in this game's existence, because I think this is a worse fall for flavor than America Chavez.
Yeah, I mean, this is rough. This is rough. I almost feel like we need to add another tier.
Just at the very bottom, just a Rhino.
Yeah. Like grave tier. Like I feel like the crypt bell needs to ring once solemnly for what was.
I don't know. My
Um,
best explanation for the flavor is that I don't know, the rocks from the wall he smashed through before you played him, but that doesn't make any sense. So
no, why are they falling on your side? I don't know, bruh. Man, can we look down there and just see if there's a good card we could talk about?
uh ooh,
Sentinel, thank you. Please, Sentinel. Look, the card's mid, but it's fine. Okay,
it's not
it's a palate cleanser. It's a palate
way
cleanser.
less of a downer to end on than what we just did. So yeah, Sentinel is a 2-cost, 3-power. On reveal, add a Sentinel to your hand.
I mean, look, will Sentinel win any design awards? Will it even, brush up against the cusp of Sublime Design? No.
No, not even close.
But I like it. It's, he's like a robot guy. He makes more robots. The Sentinels are known for showing up in big groups. That's kind of the reason why they're dangerous, because, if it's one Sentinel, the X-Men, piece them up pretty easily. But there's always more Sentinels,
Yeah, the only way it could be better is if you played 3 of them with location, they merged into Tri-Sentinel.
Ooh. That'd be spicy. But yeah, it's pretty basic. I would say C is honestly a good place for it, right? I can justify it, but I don't know. Here's the thing, right? Is there a better version of Sentinel? Maybe. But this is serviceable. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, if you were going to have someone do this effect, Sentinels is probably the best choice. Specifically because there are other characters. You could choose Ultron or something to have this effect, but Ultron has a much better effect.
Yeah, and the thing is about the Sentinels is unlike basically everyone else, Sentinel isn't a character. Sentinel is it's like a goon, Honestly, I would think it would make more sense if it was just named goon, and well, maybe not now, but hench person or something,
Goon has unfortunately been ruined as a word.
Yeah, but I don't know, hench person, right?
Yeah, it is.
It
It does
a
fall into the
hireling.
weird category of with Helicarrier in Quinjet, where you're wait, that's not a person.
Yeah, yeah, and
That's just a
Sentinel
thing
is
that exists.
closer, but yeah, Sentinels their whole thing is there's a bazillion of them, you know.
Yeah. It's also weird because we have like specific Sentinels like Nimrod and Master Mold and Bastion's coming out
Right.
soon.
Right. And like those are like really unique sentinels, but like also like it's not like you have Squirrel Girl and then also like the Squirrel card, right? Like so
Although
like
honestly, if they released Monkey Joe or Tappy Claus, I'd be here for it.
yeah, but those are specific. Those are
Yeah, those are
specific
specific
squirrels.
squirrels. Yeah,
Right. Where this is just
you can't just put
sentinel.
rock in your deck.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So I mean, it's this card is powerfully mid. It's literally not a character. But for a card that's literally not a character, hey, it's pretty characterful. But it's not quite what a Sentinel is. It makes sense, but it's not great.
Yeah, and unlike
Uh,
Quinjet or Helicarrier, it doesn't have a strong thematic link of shield to either raise it to sublime or make it not make any sense.
yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, on that whelming note, not overwhelming, not underwhelming. Um, yeah, that wraps up today's tier list. If you think that we've done this wrong, we've passed a grave injustice on any of your favorite cards in Marvel Snap, go ahead and hit us up in the comments. Tell us why we're wrong, or give us some positive reinforcement. Tell us why we're right about what we put on our tier list. We love the engagement either way. But yeah, I've been Maxwell. And
I've been Andrew.
yeah, and this has been Rarefied Air. We look forward to seeing you next time on our next Marvel Snap flavor tier list.
Yeah, but hopefully I won't have a stronger version of editing, and it'll come out sometime before 6 months.
We can only hope.
We can only
Excelsior.
hope.